Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, me, Randy, and of course the hostess with the mostest, Mrs. Boyd, Kathy.
Hey, everybody, welcome.
So, last month or a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, Mrs. Boyd put out a call to action on Facebook, Instagram, and text a few of our well-known friends and followers with some asking for questions.
Yeah,
Why don't you tell us more about how you did that,
yeah.
Mrs.
So
Boyd?
I don't know, we're always looking for content. We want to try to meet the needs of our audience
Yep.
and know what you're wanting to listen to. And so I thought, well, let's just put out a call to action for a Q&A podcast. And so through social media, Instagram, Facebook, and then again, like Randy said, texting a bunch of people that we know listen and follow, just asked, hey, what would be a question you'd want to ask us? It could be anything. And it was overwhelming.
Yes,
We
it
have so
was.
much content
Yeah.
that we could do this for several weeks. I was able to go through
Probably
slowly.
3 or 4 months
Yeah,
worth. Yeah.
it could be a while.
Right.
What we basically did is I categorized everything. So we have everything from marriage to mental health, recovery, family, religion, church, all of those
All of
things.
that
So we
stuff.
have a lot of questions. So we're going to jump in today and talk about marriage. That was a popular one. And so we'll jump in here. But before we do, I just want to share we have some exciting news
So that.
that our new book is out called Renewing Bonds.
Yep.
You can find it on Amazon. However, if you go to our website at healandrestorecounseling.com, you can click on and get a free PDF download.
I got to fill out the
version.
contact form.
Yeah, fill out the contact form, and we will send you a free PDF of the book for your reading pleasure.
Right.
Otherwise, if you like the paper, you like to touch, you like to highlight, you like to underline, go to Amazon.com. You can make your purchase there of Renewing Bonds.
Yes.
And it's our most recent book, and we're excited about that getting out.
Yeah.
So that's our big
The
announcement.
review we got from one of our people that does a lot of our book review when we first released it is over the top. She said we just have to make a few edits in it, and that's we're finally done.
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, it's out,
So
ready for you to go.
go to Amazon or go to our website, healandrestorecounseling.com, and fill out your information and request a PDF copy, and we'll send it right off.
You got it.
Yeah. So anyways, today we're going to jump into our Q&A podcast on marriage. And so we got some really good questions that came up. We're going to go through as many as we can. It might be one. I don't know. There's just a lot of good stuff, a lot of good content, like I said, to talk about.
Mhm.
So what is our very first question? Where are we at? Let's start this.
Well, Mr. Albert C., one of our good friends and
Yeah.
clients, and somebody I married, what, 2 or 3 years ago? 4 years?
3 years ago, it was like
I don't
4
know.
years ago,
Time flies.
5
by.
years ago.
The
4
question
years
he
ago, I
asks
don't
is,
know.
what is the best advice you can give when looking for a husband or wife? And how do you know when you have found the right one? Boy, those are good questions.
That's some good two
But
and
that-
two for
they
the price
really-
of one
yeah,
there.
Exactly. So really good question. So the best advice for finding a life partner
Yeah.
is to look for qualities that foster a healthy, lasting relationship. So we're going to go over a few
Yeah.
of the key things to consider when you're looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with. And this is really important. And one thing that I don't think is that we answered on here, maybe we did, Catherine. If we did, I apologize. But one thing Kathy and I talk about a lot is this. I think one thing that if you're really diving into a serious relationship, the one thing that you should do, right, and we talked about this quite a bit, is sit down with each other and talk about your needs and your expectations.
Right.
Both your needs and expectations, right, and then what you expect and need for yourself from yourself, and what you expect and need from your partner.
And I'll just piggyback on that, because that's one of the things, all of these tips that we're going to go through, these keys that we're going to give you, I think the important part is think about what you need for yourself first,
Right.
and then what does that look like in a relationship?
Right.
Because if you can't identify some of these keys for yourself, it's going to make it very hard to identify them in somebody that you're potentially going to marry. So,
Yeah.
and then coming together and combining
and
them
combine
together.
them and make
Yeah.
sure, because I mean, I think what happens is when we get together with a partner and
Mm.
we're dating, we're learning each other, and then all of a sudden it's rainbows and bubbles and unicorns and everything. We're bliss. We're living in bliss, right? And
The
it's
top of
like,
the
well,
mountain.
so we might see a red flag or two here and there, and we just you know what, it'll change as time goes by.
It'll get better.
It'll get better. So those are unmet, unspoken expectations
Expectations,
and
yeah.
needs that can lead to a lot of problems down
Yeah.
the line. So make sure that you understand each other
Yeah,
thoroughly before
yeah.
you go into a lifetime.
Right. No, absolutely. So we're going to talk about some of these keys. We've got quite a few here.
Yeah,
So, the first one we want to talk about is having shared values
yes,
and goals.
yeah.
You want to look for someone who has core values and life goals that align with yours. And that's why I say it's so important to know what your life value, what your goals and life goals and core values are, so that you know what you're looking for in somebody else.
Right.
If you don't know your own, it's going to make it very hard for you to see them in somebody else.
And some of those core values are number one, family.
Yeah.
Your key value? What's on family?
Yeah.
What's your value? How do you value family? What do
Right.
you look for in a family, right? Finances, where do you have financially? Are you a saver, a spender, in between? I mean, you
Do you
need to
budget?
religion, and religion's man-made, so there's a lot of religions out there. So it's more of a relationship. Where do you
Yeah.
stand with God?
With God. What's your relationship?
What's
Yeah.
your relationship with God, and where do you stand with that?
Mhm.
And there's I don't know that that should be a deterrent, because the Bible even says that if you marry an unbeliever, right, as long as he's or she is treating you with love and respect, your partner is going to be covered. If
Right.
if you believe, your partner is going to be covered underneath you. Now, if that partner's dragging you down the
That's a whole
rabbit
different
hole
thing.
that you
Yeah.
shouldn't go, then it's
Yeah.
different,
That's a whole
right?
different thing.
So religion, right, and then lifestyle choices,
Mhm.
and because all these, right, they're all foundational,
Yeah.
right? That's going to be the foundation, and they're going to create or not create a harmonious future
Right.
together,
Right.
right?
So sharing values and goals is
All right.
is one of the keys
And
that you want
and
to
I
look
think
for.
important too, Kathy, we talk about this, is that those are going to change over time,
They will change, and
right?
that's okay, but, having open, honest conversations about the things that are
Yeah.
changing is what's gonna be key.
Well, just real quick, religion.
Yeah.
You know, 38 years. We didn't. I mean, we were married for a long time before I said, okay. When I got in recovery,
Yeah. That's when it
then it got together with God,
yeah.
right? But it changed our life and it changed our relationship.
Right. We changed, yeah. The value became in alignment.
Right,
Let's put it that
exactly.
way. The next key would be emotional maturity. We have in order to have a good partner, we need to be self-aware. We need to be able to handle their emotions
Hmm.
and capable of constructive communication. The emotional maturity helps in resolving conflicts
Yes.
and building trust. And these are all things that we have gone through. I would say that I think I was pretty good at handling your emotions. What I wasn't good at is handling my emotions. Being
Yeah.
able to, I could handle yours. I feel like I was good at settling yours, but when it came to my own, I struggled with that. And that's why I say it's really important when we're talking about these keys that we personally know our emotions and can handle our own emotions before we step in to try to handle somebody else's.
And part of it is too, is I'll say this, my first marriage, I carried the secret of my abuse into that marriage,
Mhm.
and it destroyed the marriage. I
Right.
mean, and my drinking, but the key to all that was the abuse and the secret I carried in. I'll honestly say that I believe, and I could be wrong, but I fully believe that Kathy was the first person that I ever told
Mhm.
I had been
Yeah.
abused in all the ways. It just came out one day when we were dating. I don't know where it came from, but it came out. And I have to say that as hard as it was,
Mm.
I believe that's what kept Kathy hanging on to me for a
Yeah,
lot of
there was
time.
open, that was honest. It was basically pure honesty at that
Yeah.
moment. But again,
She
you have to understand your own emotions to be able to help
Right.
another person. And so I think that, again, going back to making sure you know your own so that you can
Exactly.
be beneficial to your partner. The other thing that's really important too is respect and kindness. Having mutual respect for each other It's essential in a
Yes,
relationship.
it is.
You want to look for somebody who treats you with love, with kindness, that listens to you, values your opinions. We didn't have that at the beginning of our. I shouldn't say at the beginning. There was a period of time where we struggled in that area.
Right, beginning we
Um,
did. I mean,
yeah, I think that, but there was an area, and this is where we say things change as marriages can go on, and but you have to be open and willing to be flexible in those. Valuing others' opinions was hard for you for a long
real hard,
time.
yes.
You had your mindset in a certain way, and then because as a result of that, I struggled with giving my opinions.
Right,
So,
right.
those were the ebbs and flows of that. But over time, having that respect, it creates a safe and supportive environment for both of us. And that's where we are today,
Yeah,
finally.
that emotional maturity is something that, well, the one thing that I know and we know psychologically is true is that from the moment you're abused, the moment you first pick up,
Mhm.
whatever, you stop growing
Right.
emotionally. So for me, I was a 12-year-old kid inside of a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old man
Mhm.
body. And on the outside looking in, it looked like I had it all together,
Yeah.
like we had it all together,
Yeah.
right? But when things didn't go my way, I was that 12-year-old kid
Yeah.
that was out of
So
control.
your emotional immaturity in that
Right,
season of our life
right,
affected how much respect and kindness you offered to me and other people,
right,
as far as
exactly.
that goes.
And believe me, I respected and loved Kathy a lot when we first got together. And for,
Right.
I mean, I loved her. I never quit loving Kathy,
Right.
but I was so broken that I wasn't giving her the respect that she
Right.
deserved, and it was nothing that she was doing, it all had to do with me.
Yeah.
That's the part where we have to
Yeah.
look inside of ourselves,
Right. We have to be able
right?
to look within.
That's the emotional
Yeah. Yeah.
maturity.
Which leads to the respect and kindness. If you if
If
you're if you have healthy emotional maturity, you should be able to have respect and kindness automatically.
absolutely, we're not perfect, we're
No.
gonna slip up,
Yep.
but when we slip up, undig your heels, swallow your pride and your ego,
It's okay.
and say, "Man, you know what?
Let's look within.
Let's look within.
Yeah.
This first of all, I gotta look inside myself, right?
Yeah.
Where was my part in this, right? And then that way I can come to Kathy and say,
Mhm. Yeah.
sorry, I screwed up."
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. And then the next little key, this just seems so common, but yet there's so much depth to this, is having chemistry and compatibility. We have physical and emotional chemistry really matter. And compatibility goes beyond just attraction. It's
Yes,
like
it
I can't
does.
just, oh, I'm in love with him because he looks good, because he's handsome,
Oh, annoying.
tall, dark,
Thank
and
you.
oh, you're
I don't say
welcome.
no.
But it's about enjoying each
Like
other's.
Jeanette said, tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
are. But it's really about enjoying each other's company,
Yes.
being present with each other, sharing interests, and really liking, yeah, genuinely liking the other person,
Yeah.
and who they are. It's not just liking them, but who they are, who they've been created to be. So, being if this being with this person brings you a sense of peace, comfort, and security, then you know that you have your safe space. And today, I can honestly say I have my safe space.
Mhm.
There's times where the chemistry and compatibility, and again, it goes back to the emotional immaturity and the struggles that you were in. Those were hard to connect to, but over time and over the healing process, the journey that we've been on, the compatibility and the chemistry, it was there all along. It just kind of got skewed for a
Been
while.
skewed for a while. I
Yeah.
mean, when we first got dated and first got married,
Hmm.
Dana Point, that little beach house we had,
Gosh, yeah.
and the
Who wouldn't want all that?
the walks down to Harbor House for our, evening dinner
Yeah,
time,
it
or
was great.
driving down to the harbor with a little hibachi barbecue,
Yeah,
and
we did some
there
fun
was
stuff.
nobody. Dana Point Harbor was beautiful back then. It was uncrowded,
Right.
and you just go down there and watch the sunset, barbecue, and it was. I mean, we were very compatible. We
Yeah.
loved the beach. We just loved doing
A
stuff
lot of the
together.
same things. Yeah, we
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
like doing the same things. So, yeah, chemistry and compatibility are super important. And then the other thing that I don't think I knew this going into it, but obvious it's so obvious to me now. I mean, a lot of these things I didn't know going into marriage. Let's just face it. Nobody's given us a book. No parent has told us this is what you need to do. But this key is super important to me now, is having a commitment to growth.
Yes.
You know, life and like you say, life and relationships, they evolve and they change. So we want to be able to find a partner that's willing to grow alongside you, both individually and as a couple. And I'll just share like your journey of your recovery.
Mhm.
When you first got into recovery, I didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't, I had no idea what it was going to look like. It was a couple years.
Right.
But then I realized, you know what? He's growing, he's maturing, he's healing. If I don't jump in and start doing things for myself and start looking within myself, we're going to grow apart. And
It
so, adaptability and a desire to improve together, which is something that we journeyed on,
right.
and we're growing together and we're still growing together
Yeah.
today, even.
Yeah, it's really important, especially if you're a couple that's, going through recovery. And remember, what's recovery? It's finding something again. And what are we finding when we go into recovery? We're
Hmm.
finding who God created us to be.
Right.
So if one, it's like both partners have to be on board,
Yeah.
right? Kathy had one foot in and one foot out. She
Yeah.
would go to
For a couple
meetings with
years.
me. She would go. She was participating. She supported it, and then she finally dove all the way into it. There's a lot of people out there, and this is where it gets really important. And when growth comes in, and this growth will change you as a person and you as a relationship
Hmm.
beyond your wildest imaginations, but you both have to be in it together.
Right.
That we see too often where one
Right.
spouse isn't one, is
Yeah.
it? And it just doesn't work
And
out, which
this,
is sad.
yeah, this reminds me though, it's not just like for us, the recovery is the first thing that comes
Right.
to our mind, but this could be ministry.
Yep.
This could be raising your children.
Yep.
I mean,
Everything.
as your children grow and mature, so do
Right.
so you both want to be committed to the opportunities for growth and change and where it's going to be beneficial to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when you're raising the children, what's your idea of discipline? What's your idea of discipline? You have to be connected as a couple when you talk raising children.
Right.
What's our value in raising our children? How are we going to discipline them?
Hmm.
This is how I see it. This is how I see it. Well, we have to have a compromise in
Right.
there. Okay.
And be willing to grow as the children grow and the discipline
Absolutely.
changes too.
Absolutely.
You can't continue to discipline or parent the same when they're 5 years old versus 15 years old.
And punishment only happens if you don't discipline your children.
Right. Yeah, no, that's
And
good.
so punishment comes after discipline.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you discipline your children.
And then this next key I love too is self-understanding. This we have to know ourselves, know yourself, know myself, know yourself,
Right.
and what you need in a partner before the search begins. And this is where we talked about understanding your own needs and then boundaries, having boundaries that you recognize when you found a good match and set that foundation for balance. Fulfilling your partnership and your partner can in turn fulfill you. So it's having a self-understanding of who you are, what your needs are, so that you can present the true you, not the image I was talking to somebody the other day about TikToks and filters and dating and all these things. And I'm like, girl, we were born naked. They got to be able to see you in your true colors.
That's
And that's true self-understanding
it,
is not being afraid of who God's created you to be and become that, and so that you are presenting yourself as a true self.
you brought TikTok, any kind of social media and these filters. Get rid of them. That's not who you are, for
No.
God's sake.
Ha-
You God created you. Now you got these filters that create
it's a
it's a
false
false
perception and
perception. So
yeah,
you're living a lie.
yeah.
And you're showing people I'm a lie because you're not being your true self.
I'm always a firm believer of what you see is
Is
what
what
you
you
get.
get, period, in the conversation, right?
So
It's not I mean, Kathy was very attractive I was like, dang girl, this is I was afraid to ask her. I was afraid she was gonna reject me, and no, she didn't. And her beauty is the thing that attracted me first, her beauty and her body, right? But it was her soul, it was her spirit
mhm.
that in her heart, right, that
Yeah.
I fell in love with.
I'm on this mission of self-understanding of what you see is what you get. That's why a lot of times you see me without makeup on when I'm recording because
Yeah,
this is who I am. This is who
right,
God's created me to be. So
right.
and I'm okay
She
with that.
she
And I'm
looks
okay with
beautiful with or without makeup.
thank you, honey.
She does look very beautiful. When she gets all dolled up, it's like, "Dang,
We all do. We
girl."
all clean up pretty dang good.
Mm,
So, and then our next key is trust and loyalty.
yeah,
Trust is the core of your relationship. So if you don't feel if you don't feel the need to question their actions or loyalty because they've proven that they are dependable and committed to you. So that's comfortable. If you don't feel like you have to question anything, then that's trust. That's loyalty. But if you are questioning anything about the relationship, about their behaviors, about their actions, things like that, those are things that you have, those are red flags.
But that's a good point, but here's what we gotta be careful of, because we see it all the time. You come into a relationship carrying baggage from a broken relationship
True.
before the partner you're with now,
Very true.
right? And it's what we call self-sabotaging. So
Mhm.
we have to be very careful that we don't bring in the baggage from our past relationship with a partner that cheated on us, lied, whatever they did,
Mhm. Broke our
it
trust.
broke the trust and the loyalty. It's understandable,
Mhm.
but you can't be doing that with a new partner.
No.
You've got
You gotta heal, you've
you
gotta
got
heal from that in order to bring your
right,
whole self in, because otherwise
exactly.
you're not even being true to yourself at
No,
that point. So,
mm-mm.
if you've had past relationships where you've been
It's
trust has been broken, loyalty's been damaged, make sure you do the work to heal yourself so that you can come in and be a whole to the next person that you're going to be dating, marrying, whatever that
yes,
might look like for you.
because I mean, the reality is here's what's happened. You come in that relationship, and this is why I had the affair. You meet somebody, and they're your prince and knight in shining armor, or your queen, and everything you ever desired in a person, they
Mhm.
are them,
Yeah.
right? Everything. And it's like, man, this is just awesome. I mean, this is what I've always been looking for, blah, 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 blah. It goes on. But then it clicks. Well, I don't deserve this.
Mhm.
Why is she? There's something going on,
Yeah.
right? So we start self-sabotaging because we feel we don't deserve to be loved the way we're being loved,
That's good.
right? And there's nothing farther from the truth, right? We might have grown up in an abusive home. We've had abusive partners in the past. Just because the past
Mhm.
was abusive doesn't mean the future's gonna be.
No.
So we've got we understand it's hard not to carry that into it, but we gotta close the chapter on that, in that book,
Right.
because we cannot be living today in past abuse.
Right.
It's
We
gonna
have to
ruin
heal, we
today.
have to heal through it,
You have to
work through
heal
it.
through it. And that's what communication with
Yeah.
your partner is so
Yeah,
critical.
absolutely, absolutely. And this last key that we have, gosh darn, I wish this was a key that I had. I wish my mama would have told me this. It's not about fixing each other. I'm like, that took so many years off of my.
And
It
it's
was
still
weight.
there
It's
now.
still there, but I mean, but I know it. I'm aware of it. That
Right.
you know, you don't. You just can't.
Well,
You don't feel the need to change or fix your partner. If you don't feel that need to change them, if you accept them for who they are and love them for who they are, that's a bonus right
right.
there. Because if you accept them, even in their with their strengths and their weaknesses, they'll do the same for you. And
Absolutely.
I think that's what I finally realized. I felt like for so much of I don't even know where it came from. Well, I know where it came from, but it's just it was always that perfectionism and everything's got to be looking right. And if you or the kids or somebody was not doing things a certain way, it made me look bad. And so
Mhm.
then I felt like I had to fix you. So it was really about accepting you for who you are, accepting your strengths, your weaknesses, and embracing them. Because
Mm,
once I realized that, I saw where you were doing that for me. I couldn't see it before.
right,
I couldn't see it at all. So
right.
don't
And
try to
and
fix each other, just accept each other for who they are.
and again, the communication in your relationship is really important because, it's like if you have the healthy relationship and one of you starts kinda like you're having a hard time in life, right? It's like you can't fix them, but it's like, "Man, you know what, Kathy? What's going on in your life? Because I've noticed lately you're just irritated all the
Mm,
time. I feel like you're irritated all the time, and what's going on? I mean, is there something I've done? Is there something going on? What is it that's going on right now that's making you so
yeah,
irritated?
no, I get it.
You know,
But
um,
yeah, if you have that person and you don't have that need or desire, you're accepting them for
yeah,
who they are, that's your person.
that's your person,
That's your
right?
person. So
Exactly, and
that's really
that's
good.
that was what got me in trouble. Is I tried to change,
Right.
Kathy, and it was stupid because she was everything I
You were trying to
wanted.
create me to be somebody you thought you needed or thought you wanted or thought was gonna make you
Yeah,
better.
and
And I was there all along. I don't know why that
yeah,
came
she
to me.
was she yeah.
I was
I
there all
mean,
along.
how can you not love that? I mean, she's just like, I out of nowhere,
Yeah.
at any time, I mean, at any given time, this kind of
Yeah.
silliness will come up.
Hey, that's a gift God's given me, so I'll take
Yeah,
that.
you're right, you're right.
So, you know what? It's so much, there's so much content that we can go on, but ultimately, the best partner is someone who helps you to be the best version of yourself and whom you can build a life rooted in love, trust, and respect.
So that answers the question, how do you know when you found the right person?
Hmm.
Kathy just answered it,
Yeah. When you find someone that you're safe with, supported, and
right?
truly understood, it's often a good sign that you're with the right person for a lifelong partnership.
And you do not want somebody exactly like you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that you if you like our therapist said, if you and Kathy were the same, you'd kill each
Yeah.
other, right? And so what happens is with I'm like a thoroughbred and Kathy was more like a quarter horse, right? As she explained it. We balance each other
Yeah.
out. Okay. Kathy's been really good about, I think she's balanced me out more than well, this is my view, than I have her. I mean, I'm now she's getting more balanced, but I was always go, 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 gotta go, she has brought me down, balanced me out with so many different directions, especially doing this kind of stuff
Mhm.
in my writing. There's just a lot of stuff she's been able to balance me out with. And so that's the important part of
Yeah.
having two partners that are opposite of each other,
Yeah.
right? Because you balance each other out. Don't look at it, I want somebody just like me. And you no,
No, and I
look
think
at
I'll
it as
just
positive.
to add to that is that, for the longest time, I think it's easy to fight against the differences instead of embracing the differences.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think
yeah.
it's taken us a while, but we've gotten to the place where we each have gifts. We have different gifts. You think differently than you think way differently than
Oh,
I
excuse
think.
me, you look different than I think.
Oh, is that what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is?
yeah, it's yeah,
See,
yeah,
so we're compromising here.
yeah,
We
yeah,
both think we do, but we do know that we each think
right.
differently. It's understanding that and respecting that and giving value to it and embrace the things that are going to challenge you, but also embrace the gifts that are already there.
And that part, the things that challenge you, that embrace the good, embrace the bad is very important because we are who we are because of what happened to us in our past.
Hmm.
We got together with our partner for a reason.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Kathy for a reason. She fell in love with me for a reason,
Hmm.
right?
Still
And
trying to figure it out, but
yeah, but
we're close.
we're close. I mean, 41 years. I mean, how much closer we gonna get?
I don't know.
So it's there's gonna be days where you're not gonna like each other.
Yeah.
I think that's a critical thing. I still love Kathy. I'm still madly in love with
We
her,
just got to
right?
honor those moments, those
It's
days.
okay. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not
Embrace them.
that I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't want to have to train another wife for God's sake. I mean,
I
you
don't want to
know.
train another husband.
And from what I'm hearing out there in the world anymore, it's like impossible to find, they say, good men and good women. That's what I'm
I
hearing.
think they're there. They just
Well, I think
they
they're
get
there, but
yeah,
I think what's happened is it's a whole other subject, but I think what's happened is that the men and women are so skewed anymore.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
looking for stuff that's
yeah.
not relatable. I mean, well, money and prestige and
Yeah,
all the
all the things. Got to get back to the heart of a
you
marriage.
can still have all that and
Yeah,
have a beautiful marriage,
yeah, that's
right?
good. So Albert, thank you for this question. This took up an entire podcast, which we some of these we might be able to get a couple questions
Right.
in, but we just felt this was a good one to kick off our Q&A series on marriage. And so, Albert, thank you for that. And I'll just repeat the question so that you can kind of marinate on this. And the question was, what is the best advice you can give when looking for a husband or a wife? And how do you know you found the right one? So we hope this was beneficial.
And it might take you 41 years to figure that out.
Oh yeah,
Really.
we're still working on it. No, this was good. So thank you for that. And thank you for all of our listeners and the people that we've contacted that were willing to go ahead and shoot off a question. We've got so much more material coming to you, so continue to stay tuned. As we close out here, I just want to remind you to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Heal and Restore Counseling. You'll have weekly posts on there. This podcast goes up every Monday, so please feel free to share it with your friends. Most of you have already liked it and are supporting us, but if you think highly enough of us, and even if you don't, just pass us along to somebody else.
Yeah.
You never know who we're going to help. Uh,
Press the like and the share button
Yeah,
and
pass it along.
follow button and, all, I mean, even like I said, if you don't like us, somebody else might. I
Somebody
mean,
else might just
what the hell?
all you have to do is be open and willing to share our
That's right,
information.
that's it.
So, and then we're going to really push in 2025. We really want to kind of expand on this and get additional support. So the more people you can share it with, the better it's going to be. And the last thing I'll close out with, as we're getting towards the end of our 2024 year, we are still offering our no cost to you, free, whatever you want to call it, discovery session. It's a 45-minute discovery session. You can reach out to us at our website at healandrestorecounseling.com and sign up for that. And what we'll do is we'll reach out to you, schedule a time that we can meet with you. If you're local to us, we can do it in person. If you're somewhere else in the country or in the world, we can set up a
Yeah.
Zoom consultation
Yep.
that way as well. But our whole goal in doing this and offering our time at no cost to you is we want to make sure that if we're taking your life and your problems and your struggles and we're going to work with you, we want to make sure we're a good fit for
Yeah.
you, and we want to make sure that we're a good fit for you and that we can help you.
Right.
It's
And here's the important thing I wanna start getting out there also. Yeah, we talk about marriage a lot, but we also do individual,
yeah,
right? You don't have to be married. You don't have to be a couple for us to help you. I
No.
mean, we work with unresolved childhood trauma. We work with addiction. A lot of that can be one-on-one.
Yeah. It's
So,
really about relationship, and the relationship really begins with you.
right,
And
exactly.
you're the first person in the relationship. So anything that you are struggling with, we are happy. Just reach
Right.
out. 45 minutes, no cost to you. We're happy to sit down, give you some input, some direction.
Right.
If you don't like us, that's okay too.
Yeah.
We're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We want it to be the best fit all the way around. So that's what I have.
Okay.
That's good.
Is that good? Everything?
Mhm.
The book, the session,
Yep.
everything.
We got
Okay.
it all.
All right, we got it all. So remember this, if nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Kathy does.
But more importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Have a great week.